Do you have a hunch that maybe you've got a masculine shield, some masculine energy going on right now that's repelling the kind of guy that you want? And if that's true, more importantly, what can we do about it? As you probably know, we all have masculine and feminine energy, both men and women. And these energies are super important. They have super important attributes to help us create the results that we want in our life, both in work and in our love life. These energies are polar. When it comes to relationships and attraction, they either attract one another or repel one another. Masculine energy naturally repels masculine energy in romance. Feminine energy repels feminine, but feminine and masculine attract one another. The challenge comes when we feel like we get stuck in one energy. And it gets reinforced because when we're running a bunch of that kind of energy and we're getting rewarded for it in our work, we're getting accolades, we're getting acknowledgement, we're getting celebration, we're progressing because we're running that energy, it can be difficult to transition out of that. It can feel like we get stuck in that. We carry that energy into romance and it can have the very opposite effect. Where it serves you in work, it can actually sabotage you in your love life. Well, here's the good news. That you and I are dynamic beings. And you and I can literally move up and down with elegance and flow between the masculine and feminine energies in whatever scenario we want so that we can create the outcomes that we want. And I've seen amazing people do this. Men do this. Women do this. I have so many high-powered, amazing women friends that crush it with their masculine energy and they crush it with their feminine energy. And they are able to shift between those energies elegantly with grace and ease. And so how do we begin to do that? How do we begin to get unstuck if we feel like we're stuck in masculine energy and you want to unleash more feminine energy in your love life? And so today I'm going to share with you 3 beautiful practices that can help you unhinge from the energy you don't want and unleash more of the energy that you do want that will serve you in your love life. All 3 of these are predicated on this idea that our awareness, your awareness is in perfect harmony with your results. And Bob Proctor used to have this quote where he said, people don't earn $100,000 a year because they want $100,000 a year. They earn $100,000 a year because they're not aware of how to earn $100,000 a month. And it's like we have a certain result in our love life. It is a perfect expression of our level of awareness. Your level of awareness dictates your major dominant vibration. In other words, the signal that you're sending out that then attracts back to you, because we live in a responsive universe, the signal you're sending out that then begins to reflect and attract back to you all things that are a match for that signal. And so if you want to change your major dominant vibration, you have to start by changing your awareness. And so step 1 in this process is called notice what you're noticing. And it's metacognition. So it's first, we have to notice when we're leaning in with masculine attributes and when we're leading with feminine attributes. Because without noticing it, there is no pause, there is no redirect, there is no empowered choice. But when you begin to notice, oh, I'm actually leading with masculine energy right now. Now you're empowered to make a choice and you say, okay, I want to step into more of my feminine energy in this moment. And so understanding what masculine is and what feminine is key, because the more you understand it, the more you can become aware of it and notice what you're noticing and then make an empowered choice for what will serve you. Step number 2 is to release resistance. Now, what's weird is that we might be thinking, well, I don't have any resistance to attracting the love that I want. But in actuality, if we actually go under the surface and get to the subconscious mind, we often do have resistance. We have internal resistance. And this is where noticing what you're noticing actually blends into step number 2, because if we notice what we're noticing, you can also begin to notice what these resistances are. And then they can move from unconscious to conscious, where you can make a new choice. And I'll share with you the 3 most common ways in which resistance shows up that subconsciously pulls us back from making welcome this new result or ultimately changing our set point. And so the first is fear of this new relationship, fear of the change, fear of actually letting somebody into our life. And the fear shows up in lots of different ways. One of the fears is fear of not being safe. And so if we feel like we're not going to be safe in this new relationship, or that our life isn't going to be safe, the life that we've built, so to speak, like the success in your career, you might lose the success you had. You might lose the independence that you're enjoying. You might lose this beautiful home. If you have to share it with somebody and they're messy, you're going to lose out on that. What do we naturally do when we don't feel safe? We go into protection mode. We go into guard mode. And so what happens is we guard ourselves in the beginning, thinking that, okay, I'm just going to keep myself safe until I know that this other person is fully safe, and then I'm going to put down my guard. Well, what are we doing? We're protecting guard battle energy. That's masculine energy. You're going to repel the masculine man that's ultimately going to help you feel safe anyway. There's a way in which you can keep yourself safe and embody your feminine energy. And it comes down to being able to trust yourself, being able to voice what it is that matters to you, your standards, your boundaries, all of those things. That's a topic for another day. But the first is just to become aware of this fear of the relationship, the fear of what you might lose, the fear of what might happen if you get into the relationship is an internal resistance. The second internal resistance is doubt. And the doubt is you doubt that it's even possible. You doubt that there's even somebody great for you, that there's a match for you, who's the guy who's done all the work, the guy who is healthy, successful, has his life together, religious or spiritual, is able to have a meeting of the minds with you, is passionate, is attractive. The majority of you is in doubt mode. The majority of you said that guy doesn't exist. And if that is your major dominant vibration, your subconscious mind literally just says, yes. And then you make decisions and move your life in places. You literally avoid him in your life. You literally don't even see him in your life because your mind is being governed by that major dominant belief. We've got to form in us a part of ourselves where more of us believes in the possibility that this person exists than doesn't believe. And there's a whole system for how to do that. So the first resistance is fear. The second resistance is doubt. The third resistance is this deep-seated feeling of not enoughness. This deep-seated feeling that we're not worthy of love or that we're flawed. The way that that works is if you believe that or if you feel that, then there's this idea that if somebody actually gets to know you and you really let them in, they're going to discover that you're flawed. They're going to discover that you're unlovable and they're going to reject you. And so what our subconscious mind does is it sets up a pattern of circumstances so that we never actually let somebody in. For some of us, it looks like this. You're not attracted to anybody who likes you. How convenient is that? They like you, but I just don't feel attracted to them. I'm not really that interested in them. Why? That's a self-protection mechanism. And I get it. This was a big one for me. Anyone who liked me, I didn't like them back. I would always find myself attracted to people who weren't available. They were in other relationships or they didn't like me. And here's the kicker. Finally, I was attracted to this one person, right? And they were with somebody else. And so, of course, I couldn't be with them. And it was very convenient because it kept myself safe. And then that person, they broke up with their other partner. They started to show interest for me. And the interesting thing happened. When they started being interested in me, all of a sudden, my attraction for them plummeted. And I remember being really curious about that. I was like, I was really attracted to them, but now that they're showing interest, now I'm not. And there was a part of me that chalked it up. I could say, well, it was this about that conversation, or it was this about the way they dressed, or it was just nitpicking. But when I actually did some work around this, I realized, oh my gosh, if I believe that I'm flawed and they actually like someone who's flawed, then what does that mean about them? That means they're flawed. And so my own attraction went down. It was when I began to do way more self-love work that my whole life changed in this area. And you've probably experienced this to some degree as well. Maybe you've done a lot of self-love work where you really love yourself. And then it's like the doors of attraction open. It's like you see things and feel things that you just didn't before because you're open now. And your own self-love is so grounded that if they reject you, it's okay. That it's not a reflection of you and any kind of flaw or imperfection that you have. It's just a reflection of the lack of connection in that relationship. But there is someone amazing for you. So that fear of I'm not enoughness, the doubt there isn't somebody available, and the fear of my life might be, or my career might be, or my home might be, or my freedom might be threatened because of this, those are the three big internal resistances. So this leads us to step number 3 of how we unleash more of that feminine energy or whatever energy you want to create the result that you want in your life. Number 1 is to notice what we're noticing. Number 2 is dial down or release the internal resistance. We don't have to be perfect, but we do need to dial it way down. And then number 3 is to be strong in your what and release the how. This is very feminine energy. Instead of managing every move, instead of controlling the outcome. See, the masculine, we like to direct and control and manage. It's all very masculine energy. The feminine can make a request, say, I would love this. This is what I would love. I'm very clear about what you want. And then release how it actually gets created. So if you would love for him to plan a date night, you make that declaration. Say, here's what I would love. I would love for you to take me out. I would love to plan a date night, something adventurous and fun. And then you let him plan it. You let him lead in this instance. And this can be one of the hardest things to do. Because if we're used to having control, if we're used to seeing the whole thing laid out step by step, it can be very unnerving when we move into letting other people fully be empowered to deliver a result. The interesting thing is the greatest business leaders use a lot of their feminine energy to lead and inspire others because they don't have to have control over everything. They actually share their vision of what it is they want. They make that request. They empower their team. Go. Why this is so powerful for masculine energy is because when you make a request for what it is that you want, whether you want him to call you, you're talking, you're texting, and you're like, I'm done texting. I want you to call me. You can literally say, hey, I'm kind of getting bored with the texting. I would actually love to hear your voice on the phone and see if we have any really great connection. And you make that request and then you let him call you, or a date night, taking you on an afternoon adventure, whatever it is. You make that request. 3 things happen that are beneficial for the interaction. Number 1, he feels your trust, which expands his masculine energy, which gives him this boost of feeling like he is capable of delivering what you want, right? There's all manner of things that happen for him that he loves. The second thing that happens is you get to see his true level of interest if he's actually going to invest in this interaction by living up to the request that you've made. And the third thing that happens is that you get to practice relaxing and receiving. And the more relaxed you are, the more receiving you are, the bigger the attraction is that he experiences and that you experience. So when we notice what we're noticing, when we release resistance and we speak the what and release the how, you unlock from the masculine energy, you unleash more of that feminine energy, and you create something magical. Now, remembering that all of this starts with our belief systems and recognizing that the main resistances are fear, doubt, and unworthiness. If there was one belief system that you could change, that you know would fuel you into the relationship that you want, what belief system would you change? What would you either dial up or dial down? I would love to hear from you. Go ahead and post that in the comment section below. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.